The biggest parallels between today and the past, probably the immediate past, probably lie in the Greek economic crisis in 2011, 2015. And I remember very clearly in 2011, George Papandreou was facing the imminent collapse of his government. And there's a fellow who said he was a socialist minister or socialist member of parliament, and his name was Telemachus Tiris, a wonderful name. And he said, we have to wait until the Prime Minister's announcements tomorrow. And then he said, everything must be sorted out within the day, otherwise tomorrow we will be going to hell. And I feel in some ways this is something that could be said of Liz Truss and her package loving proposer, Kwasi Kwarteng. Kwasi Kwarteng is leading us to hell. He's like a sort of malevolent guardian angel. And the problem is, even if Liz Truss dumps him, even if Liz Truss takes that remarkable step and gets rid of her Chancellor, she should have done it a week ago, too late, and whatever opprobrium she thinks that she now faces will simply come directly to her should she get rid of the man who caused the immediate problem, because she is so yoked to this package and she cannot get away from it. It's like a Hitchcock movie where we all know what's in that package and we keep handing it around because we don't want it to go off in our hands. We all know. We're just counting the minutes until the final explosion. The only way to deal with this package, the only way to deal with the problem is to replace both Kwarteng and Truss. And that has to happen with almost immediate effect. The longer we wait, the harder it is for that package to be isolated and diffused. Because the longer we hold that package, the more people it infects. So at the moment, I'm afraid, simply by sitting near it, Penny Mordaunt has a lot to explain from sitting next to Liz Truss during Prime Minister's questions. She wasn't, in fact, sitting next to Liz Truss. There was a person between them. But from a camera angle, she looks as if she was sitting next to her. And that's the problem. It's the optics which matter. James cleverly yoked himself to the Liz Truss sinking ship by going around all the television studios on Wednesday morning and saying how brilliant it was and how wonderful was Kwasi's package. Again, he's tarred by association, all these nautical images. And so the only way for a minister or an MP in the government to survive this coming catastrophe, this coming sinking, is to distance themselves as much as possible, physically really, from Liz Truss. Those people who rally round and say they support Liz Truss are fools. Are fools. And as I say, the longer she holds on to that package, the more chance it's going to destroy the entire Conservative Party. It could well destroy this government completely. There are people who are running around the place saying we need a general election. We need a general election like we need a stab in the back. Because the problem is we cannot afford at this moment to have another 6 weeks of a vacuum to give President Putin that opportunity to do even more damage in Ukraine. At the moment he's threatening that damage. What are we proposing? That we simply go on holiday? France is doing the same thing. That's been brought about by strikes. Germany looks indifferent because its new government still hasn't got its feet under the table. Italy has just changed governments. This is not the time. This is not the time. The reason Putin is on maneuvers is because he senses a vacuum in the West. The reason Putin is blaming NATO, blaming the West, is because he senses there is a vacuum there, and no matter what the rhetoric may be, there's nobody around to control What's going on? This ship is floundering. That is the problem. That has been the problem for a while, and our present government actually should be pilloried for what it did during the summer. It's the self-important, arrogant self-obsession of first Boris Johnson and then Liz Truss and all their cronies that is the problem here. But if I can see that, so can Putin. So holding a general election is as bad as holding a conservative leadership election. We need to steady the ship. We need to repair some of the damage, and then we need to go to the people as fast as possible. But at the moment, this would compound problems. And Liz Truss is emerging as the biggest problem that we've got.